So I think I'll finish you all off today's set of videos with theeconomiccollapseblog.com. Michael Snyder. I love that domain name, that URL. Theeconomiccollapseblog.com. Who would have thought you could create a blog specifically about the destruction of the world economy, and more importantly, the American economy and everything that goes with it, and have enough material to write every single day practically? Elaborate articles, charts, data. I mean, incredible, isn't it? Especially in a country where we're in recovery mode. We've been in recovery mode. Everything's good. The debt crisis of 2017. Once their vacation ends, Congress will have 4 days to avoid a government shutdown on April 29th. We haven't repealed Obamacare. We haven't even got on the tax issue. Reduced tax for corporations, corporate tax, whatever. We've got Donald Trump's he's trying. He did get his guy in there, Gorsuch, for Supreme Court. That I believe is a good sign. I'm very concerned though that Breitbart Bannon, demoted, not coming to meetings. He's not allowed in the cool kids class anymore, the cool kids club anymore. He was the only voice of reason, and now Trump's Jewish son-in-law is really hammering out the reason, whatever the hell he's telling them. We got to go to Syria. We got to have boots on the ground. We need 150,000 troops there. That's allegedly what's happening anyways. That's what I'm reading online. So anyways, April 2017 could turn out to be one of the most important months in U.S. history that we have seen in a very long time. On April 6th, Donald Trump attacked Syria on the 100th anniversary of the day that the U.S. officially entered World War I. And now, 100th year anniversary. And now at the end of this month, we could be facing an unprecedented political crisis in Washington. On Friday, members of Congress left town for their 2-week Easter vacation, and they won't resume work until April 25th. What this means is that Congress will have precisely 4 days when they get back to pass a bill to fund government operations, or there will be a government shutdown starting on the 29th of April. Now, I'm going to tell you a little theory that I'm going to share with you. I am going to share with you right now, which might just allow with those Congress critters to get back in a hurry of epic proportions, kick the debt ceiling can massively down the road. And that scenario would need one thing to make that scenario happen in my mind. And it's already started. Syria, North Korea, oh my God. We need something that tells Congress, even if a war hasn't started, it's about to, like it's going down here. Like, Congress, you know it's about to happen, that kind of thing. So either A, escalation in that front before they get back, or at least before they vote on, the government shutdown crap, debt ceiling. So either something breaks out, oh my gosh, or it's about to and we're so close and we're going to go there, we've got to go there, but I need money. To deal with North Korea, to deal with Syria, I need money, guys. I need money. Congress, I need money. But you can't ask for that unless something's happening. And funny enough, something has recently happened. The alleged terror attacks and here and there, whatever, over on that side of the pond. Many of them look very hoaxable to me. Nonetheless, same storyline. Person drove into some people, yada, yada. They're gearing us up for the Muslim war. They are. So we have to be in a position in this country so that when Congress comes back, bang, we hit them. We need a lot of money. And yes, when Donald Trump said he needed 56 or 65 billion more, and he said it might even be quite a bit more than that, he wasn't kidding. So we have to have Congress in a state of mind of, we need to spend some money. We can't argue on this one, left and right, Democrat. No, we're going to unilaterally vote on this damn debt ceiling. Let's kick that out for at least a couple more years. Let's give him another $2 trillion. This 22, 24 trillion, just give him something. Give him something to believe in. So that's just a little theory that I want to just sit back on and see if that pans out or not. So Donald Trump can then, of course, use that to his advantage. We need lots of money. Got my budget taken care of. Got that taken care of. Got my Supreme Court guy in. And then what if he actually backs out? No, we're not going to go over there and do the war thing. That would be interesting. But my magic 8 ball doesn't think so, in case you're wondering. My magic 8 ball says, yeah, get ready for the next war. Number one, it is a war cycle year, 2017. Martin Armstrong coined it about 2 years ago. 2017 is looking like our economic model, confidence model, is showing wartime. But I've also found what I've labeled the war charts, or whatever. I did a video on a little while back. And you can see the little lines. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, there's 2017. That's funny. Oh, and there's an enemy. Matter of fact, there's two. Korea, North Korea, and Syria. Boy, how did they just come out in the war cycle? How could you mark on a calendar, this is right here in the future, a war's going to break out? Oh, get out of here. How the hell do you... Oh my gosh. He was right. Because the world's a stage. It's all fake. Everything you see on TV is fake. And if you don't think so, you're on YouTube now listening to me, go to YouTube. Search for Mannequin Challenge Syria. And be prepared to be blown away by what you find. Everything you've seen on CNN, MSNBC, the hurt children, the people pulled out of rubble, it is faked. Okay? So back to the article. Up to this point, there has been very little urgency by either party to move a spending bill forward. It is almost as if everyone is already resigned to the fact that a government shutdown will happen. The Democrats will greatly benefit from a government shutdown because they can just blame the entire mess on the Republicans. But for the GOP, this is essentially the equivalent of political malpractice. To me, there is simply no way that Congress is going to be able to agree on a bill that funds the entire government in just 4 days. Well, if you look at my theory, Mr. Michael Snyder, which I appreciate everything you do, by the way, I might be onto something. But then again, I might not be. And we may get there, end of the month, and it's a circus crap show of epic proportions, like he's suggesting. I'm not going to be surprised, not even kind of, by the way, if it plays out just like that. But I thought, because these things are gearing up now, and we're getting so close to this debt ceiling fight, chances, coincidence, what's the probability? I think there's an agenda here that's going to force Congress's hand, the Democrats, we got to deal with this. We don't want to not have money for the war machine because it's about to go down. My personal opinion. And it turns out that this upcoming deadline comes exactly on the 100th day of Trump's presidency. The U.S. government is poised to shut down on day 100 of Donald Trump's presidency, unless Congress can pass a new spending bill or a continuing resolution before the current one expires on April 28th. Again, that's the one we're talking about. Since Congress is currently on a 2-week recess, there will be a sense of urgency to get a new bill passed once they reconvene on April 25th. Leaders in both chambers would have 4 days to craft a new proposal that each side can agree on and get on the president's desk for Trump to sign. If the Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, why would it be so difficult to get an agreement on a spending bill? Well, first of all, look at how difficult it was for the Republicans to agree on a bill to repeal and replace Obamacare. At this point, it doesn't look like that is going to happen at all. More importantly, any bill to fund the government is going to require 60 votes in the Senate. The nuclear option that the Republicans just used to push the Gorsuch Supreme Court nomination through is not available in this case under current Senate rules because a spending bill of this nature would not qualify. So the Democrats have leverage and they plan to use it to the maximum. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is already promising to block any spending bill that includes funds for a border wall or that defunds Planned Parenthood. Do you understand what this means? President Trump is going to be under an immense amount of pressure to end the government shutdown once it begins, but to do so will mean that he has to give up his goal of getting a border wall and Planned Parenthood. They're going to be allowed to continue selling baby parts for profit. President Trump is going to be do you think that Trump will just throw in the towel and forget about his beloved border wall after giving countless speeches promising one? It is a game of chicken between Trump and the Democrats. And I don't think that either side will give in easily. Or even, of even greater importance is the debate over the funding of Planned Parenthood. There are members of the Freedom Caucus that will absolutely not vote for any spending bill that includes funding for Planned Parenthood. But without the Freedom Caucus, there aren't enough Republican votes to get a spending bill through the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to go buy some popcorn. Preferably not the GMO garbage fake stuff. It gets you some nice organic popcorn. The show's about to go on here in the near future. Alternatively, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is vowing that his party will block any funding bill that attempts to defund Planned Parenthood in the Senate. If Planned Parenthood is not defunded now, it will never be defunded. This is one of the most pivotal moments in recent U.S. political history, and the outcome is going to have extraordinary consequences for our nation. For those that are optimistic that there will not be a government shutdown, do you actually expect me to believe that this battle over the funding of Planned Parenthood will somehow get resolved in just 4 days? Give me a break, he says. And of course, there are dozens of other major issues that have to be resolved as well. For example, Senator McCain is promising not to vote for any bill unless it includes an enormous increase in military spending, while many Senate Democrats would be very much against such a move. I don't see any way that a government shutdown is going to be avoided at this point. And the longer it goes on, the more financial markets are going to get rattled. Meanwhile, we continue to get even more signs that a substantial slowdown has begun for the U.S. economy. Last week, we learned that only 98,000 jobs were added in March. And that was only about half of what most analysts were expecting. They were expecting double that. And since it takes approximately 150,000 jobs a month just to keep up with population growth, that means we are losing ground. At the same time, the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now forecasting model is now projecting that U.S. GDP growth for the first quarter of 2017 will be just 0.6% on an annualized basis. Oh my God. That is absolutely pathetic, and as I have said before, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we actually end up with a negative number for the first quarter. Could you imagine a negative GDP number for the United States? And I'm not talking about for the year, even a quarter, any quarter. Oh my God. If we do indeed get a negative number for the first quarter, and that is followed by another negative number for the second quarter, that will mean that a new recession has already started right now, but we just haven't gotten official confirmation yet. And lots of other things are already happening which have not happened since the last recession. For instance, this is the first time since the last financial crisis when there has been no growth for commercial industrial lending for at least 6 months. In addition, commercial bankruptcies spiked during the last recession, and now it is happening again. Of course, consumer bankruptcies are rising at an alarming rate as well. If you would like, I could keep talking about the bad economic news for a couple thousand more words. U.S. credit card debt has just surpassed the $1 trillion mark. A major crisis has arrived for the U.S. auto industry. Thousands of retail stores are closing all over America. Latest casualty. H.H. Gregg bites the dust. I just did that video. Our pension funds are unfunded by trillions of dollars, and the U.S. national debt is now sitting at a grand total that is just shy of $20 trillion. The only reason that we have not crossed that $20 trillion mark yet is because the debt ceiling deadline has already passed. And that is another thing that Congress needs to address very quickly if they want to avoid a major crisis. Needless to say, the last thing that we need at this point is another war or two on top of everything else. Unfortunately, a U.S. aircraft carrier strike group is now being headed by the USS Carl Vinson towards North Korea right at this moment. And Russia and Iran are promising to respond with force to any new attack from the U.S. on Syria. I will be writing quite a bit more about all of this on End of the American Dream later today. Those that were hoping for some sort of reprieve under Donald Trump can forget all about that now. The pace of global events is really starting to accelerate, and the U.S. is already in a more precarious position than it was at any point in 2016. The clouds have been building for a long time, and now the storm is almost upon us. I hope that you have been getting prepared, because the day of reckoning for the USA is closing in rapidly. I can't find any flaw, except for that little teeny one in the beginning, in this article. Spot on with everything he said. And I said the only little thing I could find, like he said, with all these problems, now throw a war on top of this. That could be their card to get out of dealing with this. Oh, we had a war. We couldn't help it. The economy was going along. It was, the numbers were good. They weren't great, but they were good. They were okay. It was still in recovery, but it was a positive recovery. And then this thing, we couldn't help what North Korea did. We couldn't help what Syria did. We had to respond. Now we got ourselves entangled in this, but we had to. We had no choice. And the markets went down. They didn't like it, and this one happened, and that happened. But they got their massive spending bill. What is my favorite thing to tell you? The military-industrial complex, well, I've been saying this for years, will never, ever, ever get a budget cut. Not happening. The defense budget, it will only increase. Because so many big companies, players are attached to that by the hip. They're not going to ever let that cash cow go. As soon as it's starting to look like there's budget problems, ISIS attack, someone ran over someone in the truck, terrorism. You want to know what the weird thing is? If you add all that up on a yearly basis, terror events, real or fake, let's say they're all real, 100% real, and the amount of people affected, killed, hurt, whatever, it wouldn't even be in the same solar system, okay, as like heart disease, just heart disease. Forget cancer and all that, no, just heart disease. How many people die in the and by the way, in the U.S. only. So, how many people die of heart disease in the U.S. each year? About 610,000. It used to be 500-something thousand, by the way. Now it's 610,000 people. So more people die of heart disease, eating habits and crap like that. And is there even 1,000 people that die? I mean, is there even 1,000? What if it was 100,000? It's still 6 times less than heart disease, right? But it commands the giant piece of the pie of the budget. We got to deal with that. We can't let that. No. There's a whole lot of industry out there involved in the military-industrial complex. It actually all makes up the military-industrial complex. And that's their source of income. And they are always going to tell you, because that's the way it goes forever, we're not going to slit our own throats. We need to live like the rest of you. We need to survive, and that's how we make money. And this industry has grown massively over the years, and we still have to support it. So if terrorism is on the decline, not looking good for these people. But if it's on the rise, and they realize it's not even real, so we have to create these fake events to make you think they're real, like the fake Syrian crap I keep telling you about, Mannequin Challenge Syria. Search for it on YouTube. That'll trick all the Congress and all these people that make decisions into giving the extra budget for us, which that's their way, the military-industrial complex, saying, well, F you taxpayers, because that's where the money's coming from. I don't care that you can't afford your mortgage. I don't care that you can't pay your rent. I don't want to hear that. I've got 3 houses. I own a company that does something for the federal government attached to the military-industrial complex defense. I get huge salary. All my employees get massive salaries to keep you all safe. So you better respect what we do, even if We don't have to keep you safe because nothing's happening. We'll pretend that we have to keep you safe and make stuff happen and show you it on CNN. Anderson Cooper live. Anderson Cooper live. Attack in Syria tonight at 8. Oh, it's the fake. It's the two white hat guys again. The fake. Oh, and then they got the fake doctor. The guy who was charged with terrorism charges 2-3 years ago in the UK. He's now a doctor helping the innocent women and children. And the people who were going to testify against him either died or something happened. They couldn't find him, so they had no choice but to let him go. But he said, anyone on Twitter, Facebook, use my videos for free. You don't have to ask me permission. Use the video. We have to show this to the world. Oh, yeah, of course you do. You have to show the fake fraud to the world. Again, it is fake. You can look up Mannequin Challenge Syria, and you will see the cameraman doing the fake. Walks around them, they're all still, and then it's like, okay, action. And then, I don't know what he says. I don't know how to read or hear and translate what he says in Arabic, but I'm going to pretend. Oh, my legs. Oh, God, my legs are broken. But moments ago, he was sound asleep on pause mode with his other two handlers, the white hat guys. And then there's more. There's a family, I guess it's in Syria, where they do the mannequin challenge up the stairs, up to the roof. The lady's holding a baby in a blood-soaked blanket, completely still like a mannequin. And then at the end of it, when they turn the camera around, they're all on the roof, like family photo, like, hey, here we are. Fake blood, fake scar, Hollywood stuff over here. Complete fraud. I'm so glad these videos have come out last year and this year. Because when people say, oh, the Orlando shooting or the Sandy Hook or Boston Marathon, wait a minute. You can kind of compare them and say, that's interesting. It kind of looks the same. Yep, but that's another story for another day. Take care.